disrupted.
America that I fought.
Weird thing to happen. Hello, one and all. Welcome to this edition of Kitz Corner. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So you've heard all the noise from the mainstream media and from just regular dystopian, culture of the establishment that Putin is this notorious boogeyman war criminal, and he's the mastermind of all this evilness in the world, and he's easily going to cave down to our demands, and we're going to take over and dominate over Russia. Yeah. You heard all that red baiting McCarthy smear, not just outside of Rachel Maddow, the crazed lady that should be in a straitjacket. All seriousness on just how infiltrated she is on this boogeyman make-believe story because Trump became president, and it just cultivated people's brains, and that what was the symptom of Trump derangement syndrome was leading down to this McCarthyite smears and the whole Russiagate scandal and how that was a complete utter scam, and just how incredibly ridiculous it was, and just how it was deteriorating our own secrecy and our own democracy, in part by doing this. So you've heard all those crazy stories, right? But we've also shown you the other side of the story. We showed you, speeches of Vladimir Putin coming forward and saying that, the real terror is not coming from me. The real terror is these global bankers that capitalize on war and create this catastrophe, and reminds us time and time again that we have been obfuscated, we've been lied to, we've been propagandized onto an extreme level, so far worse than the Soviet Union level, and even more dangerous than what China is dealing with its propaganda and censorship claims. So once again, Vladimir Putin appeared on a talk show here, and he's going to speak directly on the fact that he's spoken and has had relations with the United States, and how the United States purposely, at time and time again, have always wanted to infiltrate into Russia and create this war. How this really manufactured was using Ukraine as cannon fodder to go after Russia, and Ukraine was just the target ground. It was just the war zone that they wanted to use, and they wanted to use Ukrainians as cannon fodder. Here's what he had to say about this. So it says, I have already spoken to 3 U.S. presidents. They come and go, but politics stay the same at all times. Do you know why? Because the powerful bureaucracy. When a person is elected, they may have some ideas. Then people with briefcases arrive, well-dressed, while wearing dark suits, just like mine, except for the red tie, since they wear black or blue, dark blue ones. These people start explaining how things are done, and instantly everything changes. This is what happens with every administration. Changing things is not easy, and it is to say without any irony. It is not that someone does not want to, but because it is a hard thing to do. Take Obama, a forward-thinking man, a liberal, a Democrat. Did he not pledge to shut down Guantanamo before his election? But he didn't. Hold on, let me go back to that. But he didn't. No, he did not. And may I ask why? Did he not want to do it? He wanted to, but I'm sure he did, but it did not work out. He sincerely wanted to do it, but did not want to succeed, since it turned out to be very complicated. This may not be the main issue. However, even though it is important, since it is hard to fathom that people have been walking there in chains for decades without trial or investigation. Can you imagine France or Russia acting this way? That had been such a disaster. But it is possible in the United States and countries to this day, and continues to this day. This refers to any question on
вопрос
democracy,
о
by the
демократии.
way.
Но
I
я
refer to
сейчас
this
не для этого
example just to
привел
show
этот
that it's
пример. Я
not simple as
привел
it may
потому,
seem.
что не все так
That
просто.
said, I'm
Но
cautiously
все-таки
optimistic, and I think that we can
у
and
меня есть
should be able to
определенная
reach
доля
agreements on key
сдержанного оптимизма.
issues.
Мне кажется, что мы по ключевым вопросам можем и должны договаривать.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And that is why they're pinning this guy as a boogeyman, because Vladimir Putin is educating people on the powerful, corrupted bureaucracy and plutocracy and the oligarchy that controls the American politicians. And just gave the example of Barack Obama on his stance on Guantanamo Bay. He was supposed to shut down. He was supposed to lead, he was supposed to, be the hope and change candidate. And he didn't do any of it. He didn't do any of it. In fact, he doubled down worse than George W. Bush. He droned more countries. He ran out of drones. He tortured people to cover up that drone program. He didn't help people. He made things worse for people. That's why they gambled on a game show host like Donald Trump to try to change things around. They believed his populist remarks, and then Donald Trump got in and basically got blackmailed by the rest of the establishment to go in his ways, and that's what happened. That's what happens with every single politician. And Vladimir Putin's dead on about this. Dead on about this. And that's why they're painting him as some sort of nefarious evil mastermind, this tyrannical threat that he's going on podcasts talking about oligarchy, talking about the corruption, the deep rotted corruption within the United States and Western countries. It's just remarkable. And people still highlight this guy as the only nefarious war criminal out there. Like he's so evil. He's an evil person that he's just willing to kill and destroy anything. As opposed to, the good-hearted United States senators like Lindsey Graham, for example, that said this about going into Ukraine.
I like the structural path we're on here. As long as we help Ukraine with the weapons they need and the economic support, they will fight to the last person.
Because that's not nefarious at all, is it? That's not nefarious to send all of your money and weaponry to the most corrupted nation in Eastern Europe, filled up with a bunch of neo-Nazis, and then tell those people that they have to fight a superpower, their enemy that wasn't even their enemy to begin with, until the last person stands. That's not evil at all, right? That's good-hearted Christian, conservative authority right there. That's the neocon, little hug there. As opposed to Vladimir Putin, who went on a talk show and talked about the oligarchy. God, he's so evil. Urgh. Rachel Maddow's head must be spinning right now. Urgh. Or how about when this happened with Joe Biden? This was before he became president. And we've always known that Joe Biden is a war criminal. He matches perfectly with the rest of the war criminals out there, the bloodthirsty tyrants that have unbelievable control, global control, to dominate over country after country after country. And this is what he said back when he was a senator.
Suggest, because back then, when I was in your position, I was suggesting we bomb Belgrade. I was suggesting that we send American pilots in and blow up all the bridges on the Drina. I was suggesting we take out his oil supplies. I was suggesting very specific action. And isn't it interesting?
Isn't it interesting that's what they claim Vladimir Putin has been saying? That he's going on TV saying we're bombing left, right, and center. That's what they claim to say. That's what we've been told by our media empire. That Russia's continuously saying on television we're going to destroy and we're going to blow up dams and destroy a pipeline and do this and do that and destroy everything in Ukraine. We're going to have total domination. Oh no, that was the United States that said that. That was Joe Biden that said that. We're suggesting that we're going to blow up country after country. I was suggesting that. We didn't actually have to go forward with it. I was just suggesting that. And yet people still want to point the finger of Vladimir Putin as the only nefarious person. Like, he's the only one capable of war crimes. As opposed to all the laundry list of our war crimes and tyrant against humanity. The fact that we violated so much international law that it's the fact that the United States won't even comply to be part of the international court system because they know that the United States has a long closet of skeletons. Very, very deep, long, deep, creepy closet of skeletons when it comes to international violations on human rights, on dignity, on blowing up countries, stealing their natural resources, overthrowing their democracy to put a dictator in, and continuously destroying humanity all around the world. That's what we're being told about Vladimir Putin, but that's what's happening that's what the United States is doing on a regular basis. And Primo Radical says the United States has overthrown numerous regimes from Iraq to Libya and notably failed in Syria and Venezuela. We also directly participated in the overthrow of Ukraine's democratically elected government in 2014. U.S. Senators John McCain and Chris Murphy directly participated in this coup. So all it is just a little bit of context to make you realize that everything you've heard about what an evil tyrant this Vladimir Putin is manufactured. It's manufactured propaganda to make you get angry at Vladimir Putin, to make you get angry at this country, so that we continue on this war. Because as Julian Assange reminds us, the point of these wars is continuous war, so that profiteers and evil, bloodthirsty tyrants like John McCain, Chris Murphy, Joe Biden, and Lindsey Graham, who are making record profits off this, they're profiteering from the stock and the Defense Department that's liquidating on the assets. They're making a huge amount of record on this, off the blood and just desperation of innocent civilians that didn't want war to begin with in the first place. They didn't want to take part in this war. They want just, basic civility. But the people that scream the loudest for war are the same cowards that hide behind their desk and make other people, innocent people, our regular Joes and Janes out there, go fight their battles. Go do their dirty work. Blow up country after country after country. Occupy their territory so we can hijack their resources. Take their oil, for example, as Donald Trump has told us. And continuously wreaking havoc across all the world. And that's the big story. That is the big, giant story that they will never tell you on this hemisphere. They will never tell you on this side of the hemisphere. Because if you know a bit about the context of this war, that's why they will never tell you the full truth about these invasions. They'll just tell you you're either on our side or you're on the other side. They'll never tell you why we're in war. They'll never tell you the history of these countries. They'll never tell you why we're occupying these territories, what the purpose of. They'll never tell you the end strategy. Because there is none. It's all about taking over, dominating, and capitalizing off the death and disparity of human beings all around the world. And that's been going on from administration to administration and continues to do so in the United States. And here in Canada, too. And we're supposed to be the peacekeepers. We're supposed to be the peacekeepers. We're supposed to get away from war. We're supposed to be, the détente. We're supposed to lower the violence and focus on bringing out an olive branch. Yet here we are sending mass-grade weaponry to places like Ukraine and Haiti to ignite a civil war. That's what we're doing here in Canada. That's what we're doing here in North America. And I'm more terrified of our war crimes and our deep skeletons than anything they claim Vladimir Putin is capable of. Because Vladimir Putin was dead on about the oligarchy and the power of the corrupted bureaucracy that the United States is plagued on. And how leader after leader after leader has just been nothing more than a mascot. And the fact it's more prevalent now that because Joe Biden is so demented and his mental decline is continuing to deteriorate, we know for a fact that it's not Joe Biden running the country. It's not Kamala Harris running the country. It's a evil group, an evil cabal. It's a big giant club, and you and I ain't in it for obvious reasons.